I just watched The Emperor's New Groove. Here's my thoughts about it. Now, The Emperor's New Groove has been out for a while, 18 years. It came out in late 2000. So why would I review it? Well, it's probably the most watched film in my life. Up there with it would be probably any of the Dark Knight trilogy and Ratatouille, odd enough. But The Emperor's New Groove, it was a film that my grandparents owned, and almost every time my family would come up, my sisters and I, or my cousins and I, would always watch it. And Ratatouille is just a weird phase where me and one of my sisters watched it like 2 times a day for an entire summer. So they're both up there in terms of how many times I've watched the film. And The Emperor's New Groove is on Netflix right now, and what a better time to review it than when most of my audience can probably watch it. Like I said, it came out in 2000, but it was an actual production hell for about 6 years or so. It was going to be called The Kingdom of the Sun, and it was going to be a big budget musical. It was going to have music by the artist Sting, just all this jazz going on. But Disney decided, actually, let's add some comedy into here, which is where we get a new director, or a co-director at the time, Mark Dindal. He was supposed to co-direct it with Roger Allers, who directed The Lion King, but differences became harder and harder, and eventually Allers were kicked out and Mark was put solely in charge and had a more comedic fling to it. Mark has directed Chicken Little, The Emperor's New Groove, and Cats Don't Dance, which all 3 of those are kind of childhood favorites of mine, and I didn't know this guy had attachments to all of them. He's worked on a lot of Disney things. Really, go check him out. Visual effects, writing, artist department, and just directing, and all these things he did just in a lot of the movies we grew up as kids is amazing, really. And me not to know his name until now, I mean, that's why I like doing this job. It's because I like knowing things like that. Like, wow, that guy was attached in so many things I enjoyed. Like, I wonder what he does now. This is a goofy movie. Not the goofy movie, but it's a goofy movie that doesn't take itself seriously. There's some fourth wall breaking. There's a lot of tropes that they just say, throw that out the window. And a lot of comedy set pieces that, for a younger audience, it's funny. It's a lot of slapstick. And the world they created with their animation style allows for the slapstick style to happen. And it all just works really well. There's actually a story that even a kid can get. You know, the story is a man that can get anything he wants, slowly realize that, you know, the only thing you really need is a family or friend, you know, someone to love you, you know, not to have everything you ever want. Because if you get everything you ever want, what's the purpose of your life if you just get everything you want? When in actuality, life should be about relationships, either for love or for just for friendship. And you can have love for a friend too, and I think he does for Pacha's family near the end. But this movie revolves around Emperor Cusco, if you don't know, if you haven't watched his film, and a random peasant named Pacha and his family, and how a wicked person named Yzma comes into play, and a great character called Kronk, who is just the best. Everyone in there has amazing voice talent. A lot of people just, you know, you love John Goodman, you love David Spade. Eartha Kitt, you might know from a couple things. She's in Holes. She's the old lady who, I forget her name, like Madame Zamboni or Zoni, I think. Something like that. She's in there. And she's just in a lot of things that you might remember, like, oh, that voice sounds familiar. Yeah, because it's her. Look her up. May she rest in peace, though. And just everyone just does a really well done job. I like the animation, how a lot of the backdrops seem just colored in, but the actual animation's done in front of our face to help us emphasize and look at our main characters, but the background is still beautiful in the sense of how I remember movies like Tarzan and such, where, yeah, there's scenery that is moved in a classic animation where scenery can change and such, but for the scenery that doesn't move, it's in a different shade, in a different style, in a different color palette, kind of, to make you emphasize the characters, and I kind of like that animation. This did okay box office wise. It made almost 170 million, but its budget was 100 million because of all the rewrites. But it was the best-selling DVD of 2001, and it came out in 2000, so the end of 2000. So if you think about it, it probably took it a couple months for it to get out of theaters. You know, it probably came out of theaters in February, give or take. and then it took probably a couple months for Disney to start rolling out the ads for it to come out in DVD, and then it came out, and then it still became the top grossing one for 2001. That's a cult classic. That's a cult following, and I think that still exists to this day. I still own my copy of it, and I think that kind of stuff helps you like realize that this might not have been a great movie when it came out, but it was a great movie. It doesn't really make sense, but your opinion can be swayed when movies come out. Mine easily is. I'll admit to that. And this is one of the movies that you might have been like, it's just another random kid movie. But once you look at it and watch it, it's comedy, it's one-liners, just everything is so fantastic. I still say a lot of the lines, and so do my friends and my family. A lot more than you think that we refer to this movie. And it's just a great, fun movie that the entire family will like. Even if you don't have a family yet, you know, it's a cheap couple night if you already have Netflix. Just put it on. It's very short. Even if you don't like it, it'll be over quickly. It's just a fun one. It is funny, though, with its $100 million budget of, like, other films that came out. So in 2000, other films that came out was Chicken Run, which was very cheap to make, but that's because of the style they made to use the film. It was stop motion, so it only cost $23 million, something like that. The Road to El Dorado also came out this year, but it was 95, but it also had rewrites. And then in a couple years after 2000, 2002, Ice Age cost $60 million. That came out, and we all know about that. So it's kind of cool to put into perspectives what other movies came out in that time frame, how much they cost, what they did, or how we have the Ice Age franchise still going on. To my knowledge, I think they could still make another one. The series isn't fully closed off, but I haven't watched the last two. I'll get to that, though, if you guys want me to. But in terms of post-Disney Renaissance, which the Renaissance for Disney, if you look up, it has like a whole bunch of articles and stories you can read about of how the Renaissance of Disney was like their OG, like their classics, the stuff that we all love. And the post-Renaissance is it kind of in between them and what we're getting now with like Moana and such. But in between there, I really do think, and from what I read, some people agree with me that this is one of the best post-Renaissance Disney movies. And if you miss the Warner Brothers, if you miss the Buena Vista, which is Walt Disney Production Company, or the Walt Disney symbol at the beginning of the film, you might not know it's a Disney film. Like, honestly, if you would skip that, it doesn't have that super classic, like, Disney stylization of stuff, I don't think. It's kind of off on its own, and that's what I really love about it. And yeah, it's got a couple of wide actors for kind of like an Incan, Aztecian vibe going on for like this kingdom. But it still alludes to a culture of like how certain dresses are worn, how certain outfits are, and certain earrings and hats and such. To the point where like it's a good start, especially for 2000. You know, maybe if they ever do a remake of this, which I don't push it past Disney, we could get a really diverse cast, and that would be a lot of fun. Maybe even live action? Don't kill me in the comments, but if they're going to, you know, remake almost all their movies live action, that is Disney, of course, I'm game for trying The Emperor's New Groove. Why not? Put a diverse cast, get some good animation going on like Beauty and the Beast or The Jungle Book. Get some great actors and actresses in there, maybe some unknowns to fill in some shoes and make it culturally diverse. Hell yeah, I'm in. But all in all, what I would rate this film, honestly, I give it 9 out of 10 hills singing. It's a great family film. It's a great fun ride. There's so many jokes and so many punchlines and one-liners that I will always remember growing up, as I have already, and as I will in the future. And I cannot wait to show my future kids this film, because it's one of the ones that I think is pure and that they would love. And it's a fun time. But that's it for me. My name is Clark Addison. I review entertainment because I care. And I hope to see you guys all in the next one.